Listen, I am a fighter. I am, as I have often said on my campaign, I am doing exactly what the Marine Corps trained me to do right now, and I am running towards the fight. I am standing up and fighting for what is right and fighting for people who can't fight for themselves.
And whoever the Republican nominee ends up being, why do you think that you're the best candidate to beat them?
You know, we've seen candidates like me succeed in Virginia in tough districts, and Abby Spanberger and Elaine Luria. But ultimately, I've been in the trenches fighting for equality and inclusion my whole career. And we need someone who not only can work the legislature on day one, but who understands what it's like on the ground.
First of all, I noticed you're one of the only candidates that's talking about campaign finance reform. Can you talk about what your plan is and what you'd like to see change?
So yeah, I mean, HR 1, campaign finance reform, voter protections, those sorts of things have passed the House, of course, and have not been brought to the floor by the likes of Mitch McConnell. But I think it's important not just to speak truth to power. Everyone in Congress knows the problems with our campaign finance systems and voter suppression. But I think it's also about speaking truth to the American people. I mean, this is a decision we have to make as a country, that we want a truly representative democracy. And in order for us to do that, we have got to have a system for becoming a candidate, getting elected, for voting that is inclusive to every citizen in this country.
You've also advocated a lot for women's rights in the military. Could you talk about how you'd like to see the military reform going forward?
Sure. Yeah. So the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is the legal system that regulates the military, was written, 150 years ago. It was not written to deal with issues such as domestic violence or personal issues that have along the lines of sexual assault. And so the way that I would like to see our military judicial system reformed is that we are removing issues of, say, sexual assault, domestic violence, and issues that really are covered by our civil code and are related to being a citizen of the United States, and take those out of a chain of command, which is overburdened to try and properly investigate those sorts of crimes, not prepared for it, not trained, and put those into the hands of experts who know how to prosecute those crimes and take the burden off the military so they can focus on their job, which is defending our nation.
Could you tell me about your healthcare plan?
First and foremost, I believe that healthcare is a human right, and that I support every American having access to healthcare through a public option. But when we talk about healthcare, we do also have to talk about delivery of healthcare. Where are you getting your healthcare when you live in a rural area? And we've seen the federal government work very effectively with state and local governments to build and provide sort of mechanisms for delivery of healthcare. So it's not just addressing the healthcare system through policy. It is also addressing the workforce shortages and the ability to deliver quality care to every American, such that no matter whether your skin is black, brown, or white, you're walking into a clinic and you're receiving the same quality of care in a facility that you don't have to drive an hour to get to.
How do you see Virginia recovering economically from the pandemic?
We've got to get money in the hands of workers. We've got to ensure that our small businesses survive, right? And we have to specifically look at, the economic impact of this crisis has disproportionately affected, Black-owned small businesses, Black communities, and minority-owned small businesses, woman-owned small businesses. So we have to ensure that we're structuring our recovery in a way that is specifically addressing those inequities and disproportionate impacts from an economic perspective. So I think it's both amending the way in which we, thankfully Congress speedily got money out into the hands of Americans the best they could, against the efforts of the president. But we've got to ensure that, as we're moving forward, we're correcting our mistakes and being sure that we're doing an azimuth check and we're moving in the right direction.